Welcome to the Why Did I Get Cancer podcast. I'm Deborah Herlax-Enos, a small-town girl turned TV nutritionist and healthy living expert. I design health programs for the average guy or gal, including those average guys named Metallica. On September 1st, 2020, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I asked every oncologist the same question, why did I get cancer? But none of my doctors had good answers for me. I wanted answers, and that's why I started this podcast. I want to help you to lower your cancer risk and provide self-care tips for those in the battle. I'm getting answers, and I want to share them with you. So, Kim Rogers, worm queen of TikTok. Oh my gosh, you are a repeat offender on my podcast.
It's like the worm. I broke the internet. I did.
I think you've broken the internet many times. And so welcome to Why Did I Get Cancer? I love you and I don't love you all at the same time.
At least we do it with a smile.
We do it with a smile. So, oh my gosh, you've had such a journey. So the first time I met you was about a year and a half ago, and you'd reached out to me. You were the worm queen of TikTok, still are the reigning queen of worms and on all social media platforms. But I didn't know much about you. I didn't know much that parasites and worms were a thing. And now that I've done your kit, good gosh, woman, you are doing good work.
Thanks. I just picked really great herbs that complement what my symptoms were when I was going through this and on camera. So
Yeah.
I wasn't just going through it behind the scenes. I literally was just showing everyone everything about it. When I went viral, I said to myself, like, you have to be pretty transparent about things. Obviously, there were things that I wasn't as transparent at the time, which I am more now, like building the business and stuff. But it was really important for people to understand why. And then you guys can go back to those days watching me and go, oh, that makes sense now. Like there's a logic behind it, which is what the human body needs, the mind needs to know, like the why. And that's kind of the part that is definitely missing in Western medicine society is the why, the root.
The why, the root is so missing because we're so, focused on here's a prescription, here's this, here's that, instead of just going to the root cause. And you had so many health issues. And correct me if I'm wrong, you could basically pinpoint it to your drinking water. Is that correct?
For this particular situation, yes. For all of it, no. But when you have chronic Lyme, which now I know because I found out in 2023 that I had chronic Lyme, this is a co-infection. And so it was really just tracing back to everything that I'd been through to pinpoint, okay, when did it start? Which is really rare that people can go far back like that and think, the validation that I have now, knowing that I had been bit by a tick, my behavioral issues happened. Then I turned into having endometriosis. My mom has the same mold as me. Like they were living on Officer Base in Vandenberg, California, which is very moldy. So I just literally have now been able to start to heal my lineage as well, like with my mom, to go all the way back because of what happened to me.
Wow. So it's a generational.
Yes. That's what I'm finding out right now. Like literally the last couple of months, we have figured out that this was passed down to me by my mom.
Wow. So it's almost like, I think about like the BRCA gene. There's so many genes that
Yes.
will determine you have X amount increased risk for this type of cancer. So it's almost like a gene expression that you're going to have a higher propensity for taking in mold, environmental toxins.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. It's something that isn't really out there. And so it's kind of similar to this, that it's just, there isn't a lot of knowledge because, well, I have my medical records from the day I was born, which is very rare for people.
Absolutely.
So it's like, at some point I'd like to do a study, but just until then, it's just nice to be able to know that there is a solution and that it really does genuinely help people. And even if you don't have parasites, the other herbs that are inside of the Parafy kit help with the brain fog. And then I brought in other kits to help with boosting and healing versus just band-aiding, because I
We
was
don't.
band-aided, you know?
Right. Where most of us are band-aided for life,
Hmm.
but you're on a hamster wheel if you just
Hmm.
accept the band-aid. So maybe you accept a little bit of the band-aid, but you go after the root cause, because we want to all feel good. I mean, that's the goal here.
Hmm.
We want to feel good. But I will tell you, I did the Parafide kit. Didn't feel so good for a few days. Eeh! Oh my gosh. It was really something. You'd sent me a kit for free. Thank you so much. After our podcast. And a year later, I still hadn't done it. I think I was scared. So I ordered one for my husband because if you're going to do it, you got to do it together
Right.
because we're both going to be experiencing some symptoms or, I'm assuming. And we started it with the full moon in May. And I will tell you, it was harder than I expected. And I will also say that I thought, I live in America. I live
Hmm.
in the land of good water and good this and good that. And I didn't realize how poorly I was feeling until I finished.
Hmm.
And now I'm 2 months on the other side of it. And I have to tell you, things are different. I used to every day between 2 and 5 massive sugar cravings, fatigue, brain fog. I rarely experience that now.
That's great.
Yeah. So is that a thing?
Hmm.
It is.
It
Okay.
is.
Oh,
It's such a thing. I'm so like I can't stop smiling because
I'm
it's really exciting.
so happy. And then let me tell you about nighttime sugar cravings. Did you have nighttime sugar cravings?
I have more salt cravings, which is
Oh,
also an indication you have a parasite, is
okay.
that just depending on what your parasite prefers, I guess.
Wow. Okay. The meal of the day. So I'd make a good dinner. I'm a nutritionist for goodness sakes. I make a good dinner for my husband and I. And then, we sit on the couch and, maybe we're watching Netflix, whatever. And all of a sudden I hear him in the kitchen, crunching around. I'm like, bring me some of whatever you're having. And we would honestly eat sugar for probably the next 20 minutes, half an hour. We get like little individual packages. So you feel like you're going to just stop
Yeah.
at one and then you stop at five. And now after dinner, he'll say, do you want some of the blah, blah? I'm like, I'll have one,
Hmm.
but I have zero desire for more than one. Like it just annihilated my after dinner sugar craving. And I have had after dinner sugar cravings my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you're just like, I'm good. You can keep whenever you start to feel the sugar cravings come on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I take this every morning,
Which,
but the sustain.
oh, sustained. Okay.
Yeah, but if you're starting to feel like a sugar craving again, just take
Mm-hmm.
that and then it'll kind of diffuse the sugar craving. This is like
Well,
the anti-sugar craving
what's
tincture.
what's in the sustain?
Oregon grapefruit,
Okay.
usnea, and peppermint. So it's a
Okay.
digestive aid, but it also like fights the candida and honey, which a lot of people think, oh, honey will feed it, but actually we don't heat our unpasteurized, unfiltered raw honey above
Mm-hmm.
100 degrees. So it's between 98 and 100, and it
Okay.
keeps the medicinal value, which is why we put it in because it makes candida go away.
My gosh. So does
Mhm.
candida drive sugar cravings?
Yes, candida is usually the number one
Okay.
reason you have sugar cravings. And then it starts to get worse. And then, because we all have yeast in our bodies. And so it's a matter of when the yeast gets overgrown, it turns into candida. And candida is a parasite. And not a lot of people know that candida is a
It
parasite.
is.
Hmm. It is. Candida is a parasite. It feeds off the host. That's the definition of a parasite. Is it feeds off the host. So it's telling
Okay.
you, it's controlling your mind saying
Eat the
eat the
sugar.
sugar. And so that's why it's so crazy that parasites are so mind controlling, because it's
Wow.
literally telling you to eat something that your body isn't really wanting, or
Right.
energy wise, nutrients. It doesn't
Right.
want it, but the candida's like, you do want it. Take it.
Take it, eat
Eat
it, go get
it.
that sugar, gosh darn it. Okay, so I'm putting some things together as we're having this conversation. When I was in college and I was getting my health science degree, we would be in anatomy class and cadaver, not we really didn't work a lot on cadavers, but cats.
Yeah.
And we didn't wear gloves.
Okay.
And then I got really, really sick, really sick. had to drop out of school for the semester. And then I ended up maybe a few months later with horrible candida where I was hospitalized.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm thinking that the parasite cleanse I just did with you really helped to knock a lot of that stuff out that I've had in my body for
Mm-hmm.
almost 40 years.
Wow. It's possible.
Wow. Okay. Well, I geek out about stuff like that. So I'm just going to say, yes, that's what happened.
I mean, I would say that if you've never done any sort of anti-parasitic anything or anti-candida anything, they're surviving in us. They're thriving. They don't really need anything to continue to live in us for decades.
Okay.
And so I know we talked a little bit about this offline, but I've got stuff in my body that my mom passed down to me that I know I got as a child. And so the whole thought process that this can live in me for 30 years really isn't that shocking anymore.
It's really
'Cause I've
not, is
seen
it?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right.
really
You've
not.
seen it. You are
Mhm.
on the front lines of this.
Yeah.
So, what's the big deal with parasites? I mean, they've been around since humanity's been around. We've figured out how to manage them. Is
Mhm.
it really such a big deal that they're inside of us?
I think it's a big deal they're inside of us because they have their own frequency. So there's something alive in us that is interfering with our being alive.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like the Western medicine world, I don't know why this is such a thing. Like we do synthetic cleanses where we take a big P prescription and it's always a fight and they're expensive. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure if it's just they don't want us to know or I don't know why it's such a big deal. I mean, I've
Yeah.
been doing this for a really long time now, 4
Mm-hmm.
years, and I don't understand why it's a big deal. But I also don't believe they should be in us either.
Yeah.
Just even seeing proof from what I've shown in the last 4 years on my pages in my podcast that like we shouldn't have these things inside of us. It really is detrimental to get our nutrients and they steal our energy. They hijack our nervous system.
Hmm.
They're in our lymphatic system. So we're not able to drain our lymphatic the way we should be able to drain it.
Mm.
I mean, they really are detrimental to our health.
I didn't know they impacted lymphatic. It makes sense. It's
Mhm.
going to impact every system in your body. And so it's going to hijack your lymphatic system, which means
Yeah.
you're stagnant. And the
Mhm.
lymphatic system is the sewer system of our body.
That's
We
where they
want to,
live.
yeah, if we go to the bathroom and we have diarrhea, we need to flush it because it's stinky and it's toxic and all those things. Well, our lymphatic system is a toilet.
Mhm.
We need to flush it
Mhm.
anytime it starts to get stagnant so we can prevent it from getting stagnant. And there's lots of ways to move the lymphatic system: dry brushing and lymphatic massage, walking, rebounding. But if you have parasites, do those things work as well?
Yeah, I mean, you can go in and start to vibrate them out, right? That's kind of
Okay.
like the way I see how we can move our lymphatic system is even just 10 minutes a day on a vibration plate. They're in a constant movement and they're moving themselves out because it's
Hmm.
inhospitable. Anything you can do to make your body inhospitable, to
Hmm.
not make them want to be in there, they're going to move themselves out
Yeah.
because you've inconvenienced them. They're not happy about it. And
Yeah.
so they're going to lay their eggs on the way out and then they're going to leave, but now you got to clean up some eggs, and that's why we kind of say do 3 to 4 a year. But then I also brought in the lymph kit because I
Hmm.
do see this as such an issue with myself. Really, I
Yeah.
have a very stagnant lymphatic system, and so when I take these herbs or I do the movement, I feel so much better.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a one and done. I
Mm-mm.
know that your recommendation is, 2 to 3, 4 times a year. Do other countries parasite cleanse?
Yes. They don't always call it a cleanse. I just kind of started coining that
Okay.
phrase to have people feel better about the fact they're deworming their bodies because
Okay.
it's such a weird, right? Oh, I'm going to deworm. But
Yeah.
if you're doing a cleanse, right, then everybody's like, ooh, what kind of cleanse? And then
Right.
you kind of throw it all in: parasites, mold, candida. And you're like saying all of it. And then they're not hearing just the word worms.
Right. Yeah. Because that could be a little overwhelming.
It is. It is.
Because I also know that when you reached out to me a year and a half ago, I thought, well, this is wackadoo because I don't
Yeah.
have worms. I don't have worms. But you know what? I think I did because I
Mhm.
feel a lot better now that I finished.
Yeah. Well, you had something in your
I
body
had
that was
something.
causing these things. And so, if you're able to get the inflammation down, which is where they
Hmm.
live in that inflammation, they live in that mucus, they live in a biofilm. You can get that out, it removes them too, and you start to feel better. So, whether or not you had actual like nematodes or protozoas, parasites, that's what those all are.
Hmm.
It's really kind of here nor there. It's about how you feel and your
It
symptoms.
is. I couldn't agree more. It is about how you feel. And I am a human laboratory. I have been since I started college. I just was like, I want to I'm going to throw the kitchen
Mhm.
sink at my body, and just try everything. And I'm so glad I tried it. And you mentioned something just now, mucus. And I've had kind of a lifelong issue with that, with coughing and just kind of feeling stuff in the back of my throat, clearing my throat. And I will say, after the parasite cleanse, I don't have as much mucus. Is that also a thing?
Yes, it's also a thing.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
because your body isn't able to clear the mucus out, right? It's not able to break it
Yes.
down. And so it's staying stagnant, which doesn't always mean your lymphatic is stagnant, but something needs to come in. Every ailment we have is a frequency. So
Hmm.
something needs to come in and break that frequency down in order to remove the ailment. And so when you take things like lungwort lichen, which is in the metal flush, which is in the
Hmm.
Parafite kit,
Yep.
that actually breaks mucus down. And so I brought in other herbs in the lymph kit to help break down mucus because mucus is your inflammation, and your inflammation is really what causes us to not feel well and have brain fog and swell and hang on to everything. So the more you can break your mucus down, then once it's exposed, like you just burn down the house, but everybody's still living in it. Now you got to go in and pick out each person in that house to get rid of them. And that's all these herbs are doing. We're burning the house down, then we're coming in and we're picking everyone out individually with each of the herbs, and every person has its own problem. So you got
Yeah.
to like tailor the herbs to each one of those issues.
Right. Okay. So you've burned the house down. You've pulled out all the people, meaning all the
Hmm.
different, like this parasite, that parasite. How do you rebuild the house?
Well, that's where the lymph kit comes in. That's also where our moldies kit comes in because it's a mitochondria booster. So
Oh,
now you're trying to give the energy back to rebuild the house. And then you put more energy into filling the house back up with people. The clean, needed people, right? Not just
right.
some random, I ate bad one day and now I'm housing parasites again.
Hmm.
And so that's really, and you may have to burn the house down a few times. You may
Okay.
have to go in there and like burn it to the ground and start over a few times because it's not a one and done. We're
Hmm.
exposed constantly,
We are.
and you never know what you're digging up when you're burning it down because things just pop up. Like I passed a parasite a couple of months ago. It popped up out of nowhere. How long was that in my body for?
Mhm.
What was I doing? How do I avoid doing that again?
Right.
So it's like, what did I do in the last year or two, or as old as it looked? How far down was this thing in me?
Yeah.
It's like you're just constantly going in and kind of digging up the skeletons and going, I don't know about this, or,
Hmm.
so it's never just a one and done with any of the cleansings that we do.
Okay. Okay, I think I told you guys that I did a parasite cleanse in May, and it was hard, but it was good. And so I want to tell you a little bit more about it. I just interviewed the founder of Mrs. Rogershood, Kim Rogers, and I got to ask her all the down and dirty questions that I had during my parasite cleanse. And I got to tell you, like I said, it was hard, and I had it impacted my sleep, and it impacted my mood. You can ask my husband about that. But I got to tell you, I feel better now. And I was asking her, I said, Kim, I feel like I don't have the sugar cravings anymore. I don't feel like I have the brain fog like that I used to have. And I said, honestly, every day between 2 and 5 for the last 40 years of my life, I have craved sugar and caffeine, usually in that order. And I have to really fight it. And then if I do have those things, all I want to do is take a nap. And so I was saying that after the cleanse, I all of a sudden noticed, hold on, like I have more energy in the afternoon. And I don't find myself going over to my pantry and grabbing some chocolate. And I asked her about it, and she said, yes, that is one of the benefits of getting rid of those buggers that were in my body, is that they drive the sugar cravings. So I got to tell you, I'm sold on it, and I can't wait for you to listen to the podcast. But if you're interested in one of Kim's kits, I'm going to tag it on the show notes. Use the code DENOS10 to get 10% off. I'm going to order a couple more. My poor husband, we're going to do it again. She was recommending 2 or 3 times a year. Anyway, like I said, I'm really glad I did it. I am loving the impact now. And it was great just to have that conversation with her. So hope you enjoy the kit, and follow Kim Rogers, Mrs. Rogershood. She is a wealth of information, and she's super generous with her information. She's got a lot out there. So enjoy. I want to try the lymph. I think that
Yes,
would be.
let me send it to you.
Oh, I'd love it, especially because I've had so many surgeries in the past 5 years with breast cancer and multiple reconstructions, failed reconstructions. And I just feel like, especially around my breast, I just have stagnant lymphatic, no
Mhm.
flow or limited flow. But I would imagine, I mean, who hasn't achieved the age of 40 without being injured? When you have an injury, is there always kind of a stagnancy to the lymph in that area?
So this is a really good one
Oh, do
because
tell.
I've done a few things because I had a breast reduction and I've had 13 surgeries.
Oh, that's right. You
So,
have had a lot of surgeries. Okay.
yeah, so I have stagnant scarring. And I did a lot of
Oh.
research, and I also follow Dr. Jess, and she talks a lot about neural therapy. So
Mhm.
what I've been doing is it's like procaine and lidocaine and ozone, and they go into the scar. And it's just this little itty bitty diabetic needle, but they push those 3 things inside that scar. Have you ever done this?
No, but I'm researching it right now. So
Friend,
we need to talk.
it's the best. The best.
Really?
Yes. So what happens inside of that scar is bacteria, and it holds trauma. And so they go in and they just do this. It's not even painful. They
Really?
just do a little injection. It's not even an injection. They just fill the little scar up with the
Hmm.
lidocaine and procaine and ozone, and then
Hmm.
it spreads it, allowing the bacteria and trauma to be removed. And I cried on the table because you can feel things being released from your body.
Really?
It is the coolest thing I've ever done. I have to, between that and removing mercury out of my one of my
Yep.
fillings,
Yeah.
I'm not really an emotional person in that sense where like I'm going to sit and cry. Oh my
Hmm.
god, I cried. Like tears were streaming down my
Wow.
face, not only because it's uncomfortable and painful to have the scars not be cleaned up,
Yeah.
but just the release of that emotion, your whole body can
Wow.
feel it being like subconsciously fixed and then consciously released.
Wow. And then how did
It's
you
cool.
feel a couple of days later?
Great. I had some
Really?
bruising, but it like before it was sensitive to the touch, and it because they're on my belly, I did have digestive issues prior, and those issues are gone. And it's because my
Yeah.
body's not focusing all of its energy or most of its energy into combating whatever is stuck inside of that scar.
This is an area, Kim, that is so untapped.
Mhm.
Most of us have had a surgery,
Yep.
and scarring, I used to say with all the breast scarring, it's just a badge of honor, I'm still here. But it also really, a lot of scarring can cause problems.
Yes, it
Yeah,
can
with the
hold
lymph.
on to all of these things. It
That's
can
right.
hold the mold. It can hold a parasite because they're microscopic sometimes. It can hold trauma. It can hold bacteria.
Hmm.
And so it's just going to sit and fester. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I really recommend it. Tummy Temple, because you're in Washington,
Hmm.
right? Tummy Temple, which is in North Seattle. They're
Okay.
the only ones I know, but
Huh.
I also haven't looked to the area that you live in,
Okay.
which I
Well,
recommend it for you.
okay. I'm going to have these available on the show notes, because I think, again, this is just a completely untapped area that could promote healing in somebody's
Yeah.
body, because life is flow. If a river stops flowing, the river gets stagnant, the things in the river die,
Mm-hmm.
and then downstream, nothing is living because it's no longer being fed by the river. So we can look at that with our bodies as well. When there's a decrease in blood flow, people have strokes, people have heart attacks. When there's a decrease in lymphatic flow, we get swelling.
Mm-hmm.
And so these, we are committed to flow. And if this can help, I want to talk about it.
Yeah. It was really cool thing that I did. I've done
Okay.
a lot. I've done a lot. Like,
You're a human
I'm throwing the
laboratory
kitchen
too.
sink at it. I'm like, what else can I do?
I
I'm
know.
literally going into these environments, and that's what my podcast is about. What's eating you is that literally we're going into these facilities and showing people what these cool modalities are and how
Hmm.
you can help them. I've done stem cell, I've done therapeutic plasma exchange, I've done the neural therapy. I'm going to
Yeah.
do CVAC. I do HBOT. I have an HBOT here at my house, which changed. I do NAD. I've done the most NAD you can do, which was very uncomfortable, all the way down to like what my dosage is now. Like, I really have done a lot to
Yeah.
help my body because one, I don't want cancer.
Hmm.
And not that anyone does, but I know that that's where I was either headed or had been at and just never got diagnosed because I was so, so sick
Hmm.
that, and I never want to get there again. So why not
No.
try all of this stuff out
Why
and then
not?
film it while I'm doing it?
Right. And a lot of the stuff that I try out, it's free.
Hmm.
Get up, look toward the sunrise, look toward the sunset, be outside as much as possible. Let the sun be on your skin. I mean, it's so healing. There's so
Hmm.
many natural things that we can do that can just make us feel more comfortable in our bodies. And it sounds like you're there. I mean,
Yeah.
you are on the other side of this, which yeah, it takes some time.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. I am on the other side. I love it. I'm so grateful that I
Yeah.
went through it to be able to help everyone else. It's been kind of my therapy. Like
Yeah.
I realized when I was going viral, I'm like, well, I'm literally in the woods. I have no family with me, which I've reconnected with my family after 7 years. And
Oh,
they've gotten to see everything I've done. Our whole family's gotten a chance to kind of see
wow.
it. And I don't think those were things that people realize that when you're that sick and you have parasites, you're just not yourself.
You're not yourself. You're not
Hmm.
yourself. And in my case, I really felt like I just had to do whatever to get to that next sugar hit, especially from like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on. I just needed more sugar. And so that was my focus. Like, well, when I finish these 5 emails, I can go have a piece of chocolate. When I finish this, like I just was like a dog after a bone. So
You're like, I gotta get my fix.
I got to get my
I
fix.
gotta get my chocolate fix.
So let's talk a little bit about parasites. So of course, since I've done the Parasite cleanse, I'm now so geeked out about it. And there's a lot of people who are saying a lot of things on social media, but I see that people are saying it could be linked to cancer, diabetes, bedwetting,
Yep.
poor skin. Are any of those things legitimate?
Yes. They're all legitimate. They're all legitimate.
Really?
When your body stays stagnant, it creates this barrier around whatever toxin it's trying to fight and it gets lost of the energy, right? So
Hmm.
then it starts to create barriers around that toxin and then it starts to get like a hardened shell around it.
Mm.
And that can be tumors, it can be a cause of your lymphatic system to stop flowing.
Hmm.
Bedwetting is a huge one for pinworms because they've hijacked the nervous system. I actually have a phrase that I read the other day, and I was like, this makes so much sense of why our nervous system is so hijacked. And I got this from someone off of Instagram, the
Okay.
Detox Darling.
Oh, I like
Um,
that.
yeah. A study published in the Journal of Dentistry for Children's found a strong correlation between teeth grinding and parasite infections, especially pinworms, which are incredibly common in children and often go unnoticed. Parasites are most active at night, especially around 2 to 3 a.m., releasing toxins and triggering histamine, cortisol, and nervous system responses. The body reacts with involuntary muscle movement,
Wow.
bedwetting, and teeth
Grinding.
grinding.
Huh.
Grinding is the nervous system's reflexive way of trying to release the tension and irritation. It's also tied to nutrient theft. Parasites rob the host of magnesium, B vitamins, and calcium, all which help regulate the nervous
Yep,
system.
of course they do. Yeah.
So it really isn't such an
Oh my
uncommon thing, but
gosh.
I screenshotted this because I was like, that's great. I mean,
Yeah.
there is an actual like deficiency that they steal because they can steal up to 90% of our nutrients. And then our body's trying to live off that 10%, and it's giving 90% of its energy to something that isn't a healing source that's actually causing us more issues. So bedwetting's
Wow.
huge. Bedwetting's also huge for people that live in mold because the body's response is the same thing. It's not able to push out the toxin, so it's trying to regulate it the best it can.
Huh. Okay. Fascinating. I mean, bedwetting just seems like, we think about kids, don't drink too much water before bed. Isn't it just as simple as that?
Mhm.
But it's not just as
Mm-mm.
simple as that.
Nope, it's really not. And I think that for us as society, we just really have not learned about our bodies.
We haven't. We
No.
haven't. And I'm super intuitive to what my body needs at all times. Probably some would even say too intuitive.
Yeah,
Like
same.
I just know, like I can anticipate, like I know I'm going to be tired. I know I'm going to be thirsty. I was the mom at the sports games who had like 50 snacks in her bag, all protein based, like all the things. So I'm glad I'm so intuitive,
Mhm.
but I also think it makes me more sensitive to when things are changing in my body where I'm just feel like, ooh, like I just ate something and X, Y, and Z is happening. Or all of a
Mhm.
sudden I'm super phlegmy. I can just tell when things are going wrong. But I've been in this field for 35 years. There are so many people who just they don't feel things.
Right.
And what I mean by that is I think they've never, ever really felt great. So they don't have the vision of what that can feel like.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they just accept, like, I'm always going to be tired. I'm always going to be run down. If somebody sneezes next to me, I'm always going to get sick. I mean,
Mhm.
these people have been my clients for years, where they just kind of accept the worst.
Mhm.
But what we're talking about today is there's a better way.
And when you start to feel that better way, you
Right.
don't ever want to go back.
Don't ever want to go back.
And one good thing about us as people that feel everything is that when we have significant others who don't feel anything, like my
Mhm.
husband, he has a warrior gene. He never got sick living in the mold like I did. He never
Yes.
had, well, he had side effects. We just didn't know that that's what it was. Like he
Mhm.
lost his hair and he thought, oh, I'm just getting older,
Yeah, sure.
but really it was because we were in mold. So
Mhm.
we're good for those people because
Yeah.
some people that have this warrior gene
Yeah.
who are exposed constantly that can never tell or feel, their bodies just block it out as a protection mechanism.
Mhm.
We're sitting here like, no, like I lost half my hair. What's going on? You
Right.
know?
Right. Like
So
I need
that,
to know right now. I'm going to figure this out.
yeah, totally. We're the figure outers.
We are. And I have the same husband, warrior gene, army guy. And I need to eat. Like food is so important to me. And sometimes it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, what'd you eat today? Oh, have I? I don't know that I've eaten. I'm like, I have never forgotten a meal in my life. I got other problems, but I've never forgotten a meal.
Oh my gosh.
Husbands can be so silly. Okay. So I want to know, tell me about the mitochondria and tell us a little bit. I know, mitochondria, I kind of explain it as it's like a little battery
Hmm.
in every cell in our body. What do you have for mitochondria support that you're making?
Well, it's the Moldy's kit. So
Maldives kit. Okay.
because I had mold, so I had parasites first.
Mm.
And then I really pushed a lot of those parasites out of my body. And then I found out we had mold in our travel trailer while we were building our log home there in Hoodsport, Washington. And
Mhm.
so realizing that I had mold, it was really hard to find a mold cleanse.
Yeah.
And when you have as bad of mold that I had in my body, my brain just could not function at a normal level. Even though I was running Rogershood and I was sitting there on content, that's all I could put forth. And
Hmm.
so it was just like, how is this possible that I feel this way?
Yeah.
And it's because the mold gets into your cells and starts to grow inside of your cells. And then your mitochondria is just completely depleted, that you're unable to push the spores out of your cells. But they also live in the parasites. So unfortunately, when you're cleansing, you're going to be dropping some spores. But that's why I brought in Ceylon cinnamon as your binder to help bind the spores and push them out. But when I
Okay.
stopped taking everything and took a break for 7 days, my eyes swelled shut and I lost half my hair. And that's when I realized that we were living in mold while we were building. And so that
Wow.
can happen. So a lot of people that'll get off the cleanse and start to have skin issues, they'll email us and I'll be like, you got to go check your house or your environment for mold because those are mold symptoms. So then I created this other kit because I wanted to use mitochondria supporting herbs to
Hmm.
be able to boost my body and my ATP more in order for me to survive this mold poisoning that I was
Sure.
involved in. And
Yeah.
it was literally just enough to get me and my husband moved out of that travel trailer and we never went back.
Wow. Okay. So tell me what kind of herbs support mitochondria?
Shazandra berry.
I have never heard of that. I
Oh,
want to
it's the
say
best.
Shazam, but it's not Shazam.
I mean, it feels
Shazandra?
like Shazam when you take
Shazam.
it.
Shazandra berry. Okay.
Yep. And then I like shiitake.
Oh
So
yeah.
in the Moldies kit, I have 3 tinctures. It's kind of our staple kit, 3 tinctures and a binder. And I included immune support as well as recover.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, now that
Yeah.
I know what you've been through, when I send you the lymph kit, I'm going to send you a couple of other of my tinctures. So shiitake mushrooms, not a lot of people know a lot about shiitake mushrooms,
Yeah.
but they actually grew in Hiroshima when we bombed and nuked them, and the radiation that came out, the actual mushrooms came up and absorbed that radiation. And so it's also a heavy metal detoxer. It was one of my
Oh
first
my
herbs.
gosh.
Yeah, if
I've
you go and
never
study the
heard that.
shiitake mushroom, so between shiitake and oyster, I did a shiitake, oyster, milk thistle, and pumpkin seed
Brilliant.
tincture to help
Mhm.
with my hair, my nails, my skin. And then I worked in the field. I also worked on cadavers and I worked in MRI and X-ray and CT. So I was exposed a lot to
Lots of
radiation.
radiation.
And
Yeah.
so I just started to look at all these herbs that past exposure, current exposure. I had surgeries. I was constantly in and out of imaging on a personal level. And then I
Hmm.
worked in imaging on a professional level in the hospital. So
Wow.
there were certain things that I knew I needed to look for those herbs as well. Well, we're all exposed.
All exposed. You get on an
Mhm.
airplane. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You
I
walk
worked for
out.
Delta for many, many years and
Yeah.
I traveled every week and I worked out at the airport. So it was like, how much more exposure could this poor body have?
Surrounded with
Yeah.
exposure. Yeah.
And I'm not the only person in life. So it's like, let's bring out all of the herbs that are going to help
Hmm.
shape my body the way I want to shape it.
Yeah. That is so cool. So, how long has the Moldies kit been
Yeah.
out?
Since 22. I
22.
just don't,
Oh,
yeah, I just don't
okay.
talk about it very often.
Okay.
I think I've just started coming to grips with the whole mold scenario. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like unless you've been through mold and have really struggled and fought the mold, it's
Hmm.
really its own beast. And I'm going to say it was harder than parasites, to be honest with you.
To get out of your body?
Yeah, I still have active mold in my body. And it's
Wow.
pretty common for chronically ill people to have been exposed and
Hmm.
then hang on to that mold.
Hmm.
It's really hard to push mold out of your body. In fact, a lot of times when they find out you have mold in your body, they give you things like cholesterol meds because cholesterol is sticky and the mold attaches it to it. And so you have to move that cholesterol out of your body to move the mold out. So some people that have high cholesterol, specifically the LDL, might not really even have a high issue. It might be that they were exposed to mold and now it's all like Nickelodeon gacked together, right? It's all like the slime
Oh,
together. And so
wow.
you got to move that
Okay.
out in order for. So I use things like flaxseed that we've soaked and pulled medicine out of the flaxseed in a different way than
Mhm.
Western medicine does.
I hate to say it, and I can't believe I'm going to say it, but summer is wrapping up, and I have had the best time. I haven't done a lot of self care on my face this summer, and so I'm feeling it. My skin is really dry. When I wash my face, it just feels just kind of dull and kind of flaky. So I've started to add a couple of items back in my body facial care rotation that I haven't done in a while. One of them is the Blueberry Fusion Micro Scrub. This is such a great product. It's from the Body Deli. Forget about using this, but it's got lactic acid, it's got diatomaceous earth, citric acid. And when I put this on, you use it 2 to 3 days a week. I'll put it on in the shower and I'll just kind of give my face a little bit of a massage. And I'll tell you, my skin is a little tingly after, which I think is a good thing. It's a good thing for my skin right now. And then I'll finish by putting this vitamin C serum on, which I feel like once I've kind of ripped off, maybe that's too aggressive. Once I've kind of polished my skin a little bit, I feel like the serum just goes in a little bit better. And then I finalize it with the Phoenix Lift Oil, which just makes my skin feel so good. So if you want to see what I'm using from the Body Deli, I tell you, they are OG when it comes to non toxic ingredients. I have been using their products for 18 years, but I've got all the information listed below. And I know you're going to enjoy these products. Use the code ENOS15 to get 15% off of your purchase. Enjoy. So, okay, your information,
It's so new to me. But are you talking about doing things that people did 100 years ago?
Yeah,
Right.
101 years ago. We've only been in Western medicine for 101 years.
Right.
And before that, I mean, think about it, thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I
Yeah.
mean, we just got a really quick wake up call in 101 years ago in 1924. We all know that Rockefeller changed the way that we all look at medicine. And he was able to scoop up publishing companies,
Hmm.
which I used to be a publisher. I worked for Cengage, McGraw Hill, and Pearson. I was their subject matter expert, and I wrote a few of their academia medical books. And so I know kind of how that process in the back end does really work. And the problem is that it kind of stops there, right? We're all relearning the exact same thing over and over, just in different colored books, different ways that we're
Sure.
being taught, but we're all being taught very similar ways. And so for us to go out of that box and for us to go out of that norm is really weird for a lot of us medical people,
Yeah.
because we've been in a box. We've been told this is the way it is. And so we're all kind of like, no, it's not. This is not the way it is.
Well, and not only are we being told this is the way it is, but we're chastised
Yes.
if we push and buck against the system, which was certainly my experience with cancer when I had to fire one of my oncologists who wanted me to do something that I knew wasn't right for my body, taking a certain medication. And I consulted with an oncologist in the UK, and he
Hmm.
was like, "We would never do that here. Like, what they're having you do is so aggressive for the type of cancer you had." And he said, in the like 30 years he was an oncologist in the UK, he has never prescribed the drug that they wanted to prescribe for me. So when I went back to that oncologist, they were like, you basically you have to take it. And I said, well,
Right.
you're fired. And I found another one, another medication oncologist. I explained this story and he's like, you really need to take it. And then I presented all of my information. He's like, yeah, you actually don't.
Oh,
I said, okay, thank you.
good
But
for you.
I'm an advocate for myself and I'm
Right.
an advocate for other people who ask me to advocate for them. But, most of us are not going to go up
Right.
against the white coat.
I always will.
I know, me too.
And I will always teach people around me to go against the white coat
Yeah.
because they're not any better than us. They just happen to be able to study better. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
I
Like,
totally
I
do.
I
Yeah.
totally, and I say this a lot on my podcast. I respect Western medicine. I come from Western medicine. This is my roots. This
Hmm.
is what I love. I love the human body, but the human body is the same
Yeah.
with all of us in a really same sense. And so the idea that they're not willing to go outside of their box to help you and understand they're in that position at some point in life, and they're going to need to go outside of the box,
Yeah.
and then that's where we're all here helping them go outside of the box. I'm seeing it. It's kind of, I have goosebumps because it's kind of a cool thing that I've been able to see the last 4 years.
Hmm.
None of this was even something that was possible. And I'm hearing those white coat Western medicine people telling people to at least go try this once.
Right.
Like, I've heard it from many
Right.
people. I have found some really amazing people. Just so you know, I have an amazing natural oncologist. She's an ND
Hmm.
here in Seattle. She's in Lake Union, and she's my personal doctor and has been on this journey with me for 5 years. Her name is Juliana Giles.
Okay.
She's amazing. And
Wow.
so she really has cool ways, like for people that have prostate cancer. She has really cool, like, things that you can do because that was her specialty. It's just, there are people out there. And then it's
Yeah.
finding people like us to help you find those people, you
That's right.
know?
That's right. And, a lot of the things we're talking about, let's just say it, some of them can be really expensive.
Yes.
But here's the great thing that has happened post COVID is you don't have to consult with somebody in your town
Right.
or
It's
even your
cool.
state.
It's great for
S-
chronically ill people, Deborah.
Right.
Like, when COVID
Chronically
hit,
ill. Right.
I was like, yo, I feel sorry for everyone outside of my bubble, but
Yeah.
this is the way I live.
Yeah.
So it just became so convenient for me.
Right. Right. You can get help from all over the country, all over the world,
Hmm.
but you have to put in a little due diligence. You
Yes.
do. You have to care enough about your future to put some time in.
Hmm.
I give advice to people all the time, and I know when they're going to take it. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm saying I have some experience in this area after 35
Hmm.
years of this business. I know when people are going to take it, and I'm hoping that they thrive in it. But I can also tell, like, when people would come to me and they're paying me a lot of money to consult, and I could tell I was like the teacher from Peanuts, wah, 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 wah. Like, they did not give a crap about what I was saying. And I even felt badly about taking their money. Like, I
Yeah.
just knew that they, you have to want to be better.
Right. Oh, and
Yeah.
I mean, we're givers, right? Like,
Yep.
you can go into my link tree and find anything, anything. You just have to go look.
Yeah.
Like, I have 5 doctors that all believe everything we're saying. 5 of them. I probably could have more. I just don't have the time to put everyone in my
Sure.
link tree. But there are people out there that are willing to help, but you got to help yourself
Got to help
first.
yourself. Got to
Yeah,
help
I
yourself.
can't do it for you. I can just
No,
show you.
take some responsibility. And I think that as givers, you and I are both givers, that we, maybe when we were younger too, we just want to do this for
Mhm.
you. Like,
Yes.
I'm going to sign you up and I'm going to send you this kit. I'm going to make meals for you. But people need to take personal responsibility. So
Hmm.
we also can't overhelp. So I love what you're saying. Like, you've made these products, you've made resources available on your link tree. I mean, you are so generous with your information, but people have to be seekers.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the other thing is that I have learned this in 3 years of this podcast. The body wants to be well.
Yes, it does. It wants to heal. Like, think about when
Does.
you cut yourself, it scabs, then it heals. That,
Yeah.
if you could flip your insides and open them to the outside and see, I think that's where the problem is for a lot of people, is that they
Hmm.
can't see inward. And I'm one of those people that can.
Hmm.
Like, I can scan my inside of my body and know that it's trying to heal here, and how can I help it?
Yep.
That's the part that we've kind of been astrayed, right? Is
Yeah.
that, flip it in. What are you going to see if you cut your body in half and open it? Spores, worms. Are you going to see unhealed damage? Because, just say parasites, they swim in and out of tissue, which is trying to heal while it's trying to keep the energy to the right organs. Like, if you really think about it in a bigger picture than just, oh, I can't see it,
Yeah.
You're assisting your body to heal and give it the tools it needs in
Right.
order for it to heal
Right.
because it wants to.
It wants to heal. So
Mhm.
let's talk about a couple of things that will put your body into a position of healing. Sleep.
Yes, because you're in rest and digest.
Right.
That's what you got to get yourself out of fight or flight, which parasites and mold and environmental toxins keep you in fight or flight.
Hmm.
So you're basically just giving yourself PTSD all day, every day,
Yeah.
because that's what fight or flight is. It keeps you in the hamster wheel, it keeps you going. Your
Hmm.
energy is being pushed to that. I mean, how can you survive if all
Okay.
80%, 100%, right? Like,
Hmm.
even if only 20% of your energy is going to something, like to calm your nervous system
Right.
down, to flush your lymphatic system out. Like, once your body isn't in a constant state of attacking itself, because that's what it does with an
Hmm.
autoimmune, it never gets into rest or digest.
That's right.
So, sleep.
Sleep. How do you prioritize sleep? What tips can you offer to become a better sleeper?
Well, I got an aura ring,
Mm.
but that was just to see like where my stress was
Okay.
and what my sleep was like. But before, I was an insomniac. Like, I
Me too.
remember back when I was a teenager, I would watch TV at night. That's pretty much how I got most of my knowledge, was I would sit at night up all night long.
Yeah.
And now I know it's because I had parasites. So I know that when you start to remove toxins out of your body is going to sleep in a normal time
Hmm.
and a normal amount of sleep. How did you sleep after you did the Parafy kit?
Much better, but sleep was hard during.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep was hard. I felt like I was really hot. I was just running really, really hot and hot and itchy.
Itchy. Side effect. Die off.
Yeah, the die off was real. I think maybe about 7 days in, my husband's like, I'm itchy. And I'm like, we're arguing. We were, we, we had such an argument. And then halfway through, we're like, oh, why are we arguing? I don't know.
Jeremy and I look at each other like, I'm in die offs. He's
Yeah,
like, I'm in die offs.
I'm a die off. So luckily we had die off at the same time. And so we argue and they're just like, okay, what's for dinner?
He'll say now that I have Lyme, because he has Lyme too. We both have Lyme.
Oh gosh.
I think I gave him the Lyme, so I can't prove that it's a sexually transmitted disease, but it is, because
Yeah.
it's all bacteria and stuff.
Yeah.
And he'll look at me and go, "Are you limey today?" I'm all, "Oh my gosh,
Apparently I
sorry."
am. Limey. I like it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was a journey, but yeah, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it's over. Yeah, we had lots of die off. So that's, yeah, we've been married 20 years now. And now I feel like we've done it all, just about done it all. My poor
We
husband.
dewormed together.
We've dewormed together.
Oh
The,
my God. Can
the,
you imagine other countries are probably looking at us like, you guys, I might go to another country now and be like, so do you watch The Worm Queen? Because like, I'd like to know what you're seeing
I
and
know.
thinking.
But it is true in other countries. I have a good friend in India, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I can tell when my kids have, the splotches.
Yeah.
So we deworm them." And I was like, "Wow, that's amazing! Like, just okay, you just deworm them."
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, so my husband and I were trying to get some anti-parasitics this last couple of months through our insurance, which is wild. And they came back and it was like $24,000. And I said, should we just go on a cruise and go back to another country? Because that's where we got them before. Is we just went to another country and we went to their pharmacy and
Be
it
a
was like
lot,
$45.
be a lot cheaper to just
Yeah.
fly someplace, and then you'd
I
have
said,
also have a good
great
time.
vacation.
It'd be
Yeah.
a great
I'm like,
vacation.
why
We'll
did
call
you
it Kim Rogers' Parasite Journey.
totally?
Oh my gosh, that could be a Netflix special.
It really could.
Um,
Netflix.
let's prophesy that right now.
Tag Netflix. Be like, where is she going next to get
Yeah.
anti-parasitics? It's just wild.
Oh,
It's just a wild situation.
it is a
So,
wild ride.
and I don't really talk a lot about it because I do take both. I do take, because we were so infested,
Yeah.
and it's all proof, like things were coming out of our bodies on camera, and it's like at some point, you have to go a little deeper. You have to go a
Mhm.
little deeper to really rid it. But I just couldn't believe that it took us a month. It took us a
Really?
month of like 4 or 5 authorizations, prior authorizations from my doctor. And I even called my insurance. I'm like, so you guys are saying you know more than my doctor? And then I got a mark on my record from them
Oh,
because, I fight them. I'll
you're a
call
naughty
up and they'll be
girl.
like, I don't get it. Like, my doctor's telling you I need this.
Yeah.
This is our 5th prior auth. And so I need to know because I used to work in insurance. I
Thank
actually
goodness you
wrote
had
one
that
of the
knowledge.
medical
Yeah.
billing and coding books that they actually used for electronic medical records. I helped transition our country into EMR.
Oh my
So I'm sitting here
gosh.
like, what is wrong with you people
Yeah.
trying to tell me what my doctor and I know is best for me because you don't want
Right.
to pay this stupid amount that you put on there? I
Oh my
mean, it's like $1
gosh.
trillion,
Yeah,
I
of
mean, we're in a
course.
$1 trillion industry here.
Yeah,
It's like
they don't want to spend the
wild.
money on you.
Mm,
Mm-mm.
no, nope, nope. But anyway, sorry, I kind of went off on
No, I
that.
liked it. I liked it. Now, let's go on a cruise so we can go get some.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
St. Martin, Dominican Republic, like all of
Really?
them. You just go to the pharmacy. And when I went and got like a year's supply of it a couple years ago, they looked at me and they're like, that's what you want? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, you don't want anything else? I'm all, no, I'm good.
They wanted to do like all the facial stuff. What is that?
Yeah.
Retin-A and all that other
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
They're like,
no,
Xanax? You want some
Xanax,
pain pills? I'm
sleeping.
all, no, I
No,
just want antiparasitic.
I'm a simple gal. I just want the worms out.
Just want to protect myself.
Just
And they're like,
protecting myself.
okay. I'm all, when we walked
Crazy
out,
Americans.
right. I'm from America. We can't just get these. They're like, okay, weirdo. I come out, I'm like, should we black market these? I mean, like 6 pills is $1,000. We could retire.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh,
it's
that's a
wild.
shame.
Yeah,
That's a shame.
it was really sad when I walked out of there. I looked at Jeremy and I go, this is craziness. It's crazy. It was $45 for a year supply.
Wow.
And 6 pills is $1,000 in our country.
Will it change with the Maha movement?
I'm hoping, I'm pushing. I got a
Yeah.
lobbyist lawyer and I'm really trying to
Great.
make some medical reform because what situation we're in right now is really, really unnecessary. And it
Yeah.
hasn't always been like this.
Really?
In the 90s, it wasn't like this, it wasn't to this extreme. It
Yeah.
wasn't this bad.
It wasn't
And
this bad.
so
Yeah.
it's like, that's really what's made me in 2021 start to push my own cleanse because I have control over it. We make it
Mhm.
ourselves. Everything we do it ourselves, all the way down to I'm brokering another pill machine from China. I'm bringing in more equipment. There
Wow, good
isn't
for
anyone
you.
else that's doing this for us. This is
Mhm.
literally what my husband, me, Erica, and Jack do every day. And it's
Yeah.
because once you hand that control over to someone else, their intentions are not always going to be the same as you. And so
Mm-mm.
that's kind of where we're at in society. And I'm hoping that with as many waves that I'm causing and with like RFK Jr. having a tapeworm in his brain that he talked
Right.
about.
Right. I mean, that was pretty amazing and honestly really bold
Yeah.
because, you know, there's a lot of people who are making fun of the whole thing. I totally believe it. I'm
Mhm.
so glad he talked about it. I'm so glad he's talking about so many things. I love the Maha movement. And, I'm really hopeful that things are changing. I mean, I love that there's some changes that are already occurring.
Mhm.
One thing I'm just so disappointed in right now is the 453 pesticide bill where it's immunity for all the pesticide.
Yeah, they always get immunity.
They always do. It's going to be
They
like
do.
vaccine immunity in the
Mhm.
80s. It's going to be very similar to that. So I'm really calling all the offices that I can call.
We just need to know how to protect our own body.
We
I
do.
mean, they can get immunity and we can say, shame on them, but
Mhm.
like we're aware. And once you're aware, it is your responsibility to then protect yourself
Yeah,
in the best way that you can.
that's right.
And I know it's really hard to do. I really do know how hard this is
Yeah.
because I literally am in the trenches with everybody doing everything the same way too
That's
and
right.
trying to say all of the things so that people can hear you.
That's right.
It's
I
like,
know.
so really all we can do is just keep going on podcasts, keep going on social media, utilizing these tools that
Mhm.
we have been provided that were supposed to be for fun and entertainment, and we continue to keep using them for education and knowledge.
Yeah.
That's why I've done this, because it's like I want everyone to know, well, what's the best platform for everyone to know how to protect their bodies in some form of fashion, what we're doing.
Yeah. And you are, as I mentioned earlier, you're so generous with your wisdom. And I appreciate you so much. Like I said, I can't say love hate because I don't hate you. I love you. Except when I was yelling at my husband because I had die off. But thanks. Keep fighting the good fight. I love that you're continuing to come out with new products. Listen to Kim's your podcast is Eat It. What's Eating You?
What's eating
And
you?
then
With the letter U.
yeah, and then you're doing that with a girlfriend, CMOS.
Sam. Yeah, she's Sammy sea moss. She
Sammy
has an
CMOS.
amazing sea moss. It's not just sea moss, it's a superfood. She adds like
Oh.
chaga, lion's mane. She has a couple different
Oh.
blends. She has one called liquid gold. It has turmeric in it, so it really helps
Oh.
with inflammation. It's really good to take with the Parasite kit because it helps break mucus down. That's the whole purpose of a sea moss when you're taking it, is to break that mucus down. And then it alkalines your body, so it helps keep them inhospitable, wanting to leave. And so, yeah,
Okay.
I met her almost 2 years ago, and I hit
Okay.
her up in the DMs, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" She was going to do a big group cleanse, and Rogershood sponsored it. And then we've talked every day since. And
Oh.
last July, we decided we wanted to do a podcast together. And she's a producer. Her and her husband are producers. They've written for like Kanye West and produced a lot of songs you see on
Oh
TV.
my
So I'm like,
gosh.
well, could you produce our podcast? Because
That's
like that's the only thing
cool.
stopping me from a podcast, is that I don't have any way of producing it. I don't have the
Right.
time.
Right.
So
Wow,
yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah. So
Mhm.
your podcast is what, like 8 months old, 6 months old?
It started, we launched it in January.
January.
Yeah, so
Okay.
6 months. We're in our season one break as
Yeah.
of today. Today was our season finale at
Awesome.
the shop. I
Okay.
actually show what our shop looks like.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, it's cool because it's going to change again.
Yeah.
So we get to see what it looks like now, and then I'm upgrading it to have automatic machines.
Oh
So
my
right now
gosh.
we hand do everything
Yeah.
at Rogershood, and so there's a few things that we have semi-automatic,
Hmm.
but I've been working in the last couple of months behind the scenes to get us more automated so that they can just have most of the things are done, and then there'll be a few people that will like grab it, and then the machines will actually put the labels on. And these are things that when you manufacture a product,
It's
you have
just,
to find a manufacturer, but I don't
right.
want anyone else to touch our product. I don't want
No,
anyone else to touch our recipes.
no,
Yeah,
no.
because that's when things change. So
That's
we're
when
like,
things change.
we're
Yeah.
just going to keep doing it ourselves.
Keep
I
doing
have
it
like
yourself.
5 full-time jobs. It's wild how
It's wild. Get some rest, girl. Kim Rogers. Oh my gosh, I've been so looking forward to this. Thank you for coming on Why Did I Get Cancer? I love you right now.
Thanks, Deborah. Thanks for having me. This was great.
Did you know that I have a newsletter? I have been writing this newsletter, honestly, for probably 20 plus years. It's always been my intention that you can read my newsletter in about a minute or less, which is perfect for the world we live in. So if you'd like to get cutting edge information, hear about some of my favorite new products, go to today's show notes and you can click the link to sign up for my newsletter. I release it every Thursday. I try to make it kind of fun and kind of goofy, and I try to make you laugh. So hope you enjoy it. Go sign up. Tell a friend. Hey, y'all, can you do me a favor today and go and leave a review of this podcast? I know that the more great reviews, wink, wink, emphasis on great reviews that I get, along with more downloads and more subscribers, that pushes this podcast out to people who might normally not even find it. And the reason I started this podcast and my real heart for starting this podcast is that I needed this information. It wasn't available. And so I started a podcast so that I could be a blessing to others. So you're a blessing to me just by being here. And again, thank you for your support. Thank you for your positive reviews and all of the notes that you send me. And I also just wanted to say, hey, keep in mind, I'm not a doctor. And if you need medical advice, please reach out to your team. That is going to be just the best source for you because they know you. So again, I hope you enjoyed this podcast.